We have not one, not two, but three. Yes, three very inexpensive tools that will make your life way easier. What's up, everybody? My name is Clint and welcome to the Tool Review Zone channel. These tools are from a company called Prexiso. Now, with my Pittsburgh accent, I can't say Prexiso that many times in a row, so I'm just gonna call them Prex. Now, they did send these over for me to take a look at, but this is my 100% honest opinion. I'm not getting paid in any way to look at these. All right, we're gonna start from the cool to the coolest. So the cool, well, that's this right here. This is the Prexiso. It's the pen laser distance measure with clip. You can measure up to 100 feet or 30 meters. Now, this thing is super easy to use. You can see it's a little bit longer. But what you do is you just take this, push that on button like so, hold it in for about 2 seconds and it will turn on. It runs off of 2 AAA batteries. The other ones do not, and I'll talk about that here in a bit. Now what's cool about this, it's very light, but it's a very simple gadget. The sides look like they're built of carbon fiber, so the build quality on this is excellent. You have a really nice clip right here that if I want to put this in my shirt, that's real nice. Now the best range for this is 1.15 feet up to 100 feet. The accuracy is 1/8 of an inch. The smallest unit displayed is 1/16 of an inch or 1 millimeter. It's a class 2 laser. You do have continuous measuring. It will power off after 120 seconds of non-use. The weight without the batteries, only 40 grams. Now, I think this is a really cool device. The only issue I have with it is the screen does not rotate. So if I'm taking a measurement with my left hand and I want to read it with my right hand, well, it's going to be upside down. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in a bit, but let's move it on to the next cooler tool. All right, now check this one out. This is really, really cool. This is your basic distance laser measure. You'll see a lot of these from Bosch. Those are very popular, but this right here, look how small this thing is compared to my palm. I mean, it is freaking tiny. You can use this as a keychain. I mean, literally if you wanted to. Now, what's cool about this is it actually recharges. Now, the one thing that's kind of a bummer, it is an A port, not a C port. But we'll get to that here in a bit. But this one right here will do much more than the previous one that I showed you. You can do single distance measuring, you can do continuous measuring, you can do area measuring, you can measure volume. You got a 2-point Pythagoras and a 3-point Pythagoras, all on this little unit. But again, you have a lot more function. Now what's cool is you just hold that little button right here. That's going to turn your laser on. Tells you how much battery power you still have left. You can change your unit simply by pushing this button right here. And then this little button right here will change your measuring units. Just simply push that and scroll through. Now, because this is smaller, you might have a harder time seeing the screen, but that said, the backlight on here is also really, really bright. The build quality, it's not bad. I would say it's not built as well as a Bosch, but it's extremely light. You really don't even feel it in your hands, and it allows you to get in some really tight areas because of the size. Now, there is a major downside to this distance measure. Though you do get around 3 to 5 hours of use per charge, it does take around 2 hours for it to charge completely. That's a little bit high for me. But the size of it, you would think that it would charge a little quicker within like an hour or so. That said, you do get a lot of different measuring functions. I mean, a total of 6. You know, it's made out of ABS, and all in all, this thing is really cool. It's a mini. But I really think the best part of this entire thing is even though you get all those functions, it's still only running $34. So somebody that does not have the budget for a $100 or $200 laser measure, well, this right here gives you a lot of options for a very small price. All right, so I showed you the cool, I showed you the cooler. Now I'm going to show you the coolest. This thing here is freaking awesome. It's a tape measure, right? Well, yes, and more than that. First off, let's just take a look at the tape. This thing is actually really well built. This feels like a DeWalt almost. I mean, it feels like it's a premium tape measure. Now, this tape has a standout at about 8.5 feet. After about 9 feet, then it will collapse. And of course, you got your basic lock function. But that is where the cool begins. I mean, check this out. Not only is this a tape measure, this is a laser measure as well. This is the Prex or Prexiso. It's just so hard to say. On the back right here, you can see this is where your laser is at. Up on the top right here is your screen. So you're able to read out all of your measurements right up on top here. On the side is where your units are at. Your on and off button is right here and your different functions. Now it's a 16-foot tape measure, but the laser will measure up to 135 feet. Now, the other thing that is very cool about this is, check this out. Right here on the back, you have this like little waterproof compartment, but you lift that up. That is a C cable charging area. Yes, it is a rechargeable tape measure. Now, with the battery fully charged, you'll get up to about 5,000 measurements. This will also shut down after 120 seconds of non-use, so you don't have to worry about your battery draining. But just like the pocket measure that I showed you last, it has all of the same functions, the same measurements that you can take with this tape measure, which I find very cool. Now, what I really like about this screen is, again, it is really bright, but you can see everything that you're measuring, what measurements you're taking, how much battery life you have up on this thing. The other thing I will tell you is that the laser is actually very well protected. It's set in a little bit, so you have that ABS on the outside, so if you drop this thing, you're probably not going to bust this. And just an FYI, you can measure from the top and the bottom of this tape. You have two different areas where you can hook on to your material, and that is cool. And yeah, it has a nylon coat. Now this right here is really cool. I think the pen is really nice. It's cheap. It's only around $34, but you only get a certain amount of functions with that. I think the pocket, that is really neat. I like that. I love how small that is. But this right here, this is probably, I love cool tools. I freaking love cool tools. And this, my friends, is a cool tool. This is definitely something that I will be using out in the shop. I just think it's really neat. Now, whether or not it holds up a very long time, well, we'll do a 1 year later review on this. And if it gives me any issues, you will be the first to know. But here's the thing, when I'm building something, I use a tape measure a lot. But for instance, when I was building this studio right here, I would often use the tape measure and the laser measure just because the laser measures are a lot easier. They're not used for everything, but they do come in handy. So if I would have had this when I was building the studio, instead of having the two tools, I could have had the one tool, and I think I would have been a lot better off. Now, one other thing that I want to point out with this tape measure is that it's $49. So for $49, you're getting a pretty nice tape measure. But as for the tape measure itself, it's built pretty damn well. And you get that laser on the back for only $49. I think that's one heck of a steal. You know, you're killing two birds with one stone. So there you go. 3 awesome tools from a company called Prexiso. Prexiso. Prexiso.
Prexiso. Prexiso.
I want to know what you think. Which one did you like best? Did you like the laser pen? Did you like the mini measure here? Or did you like the tape measure? Leave me a comment in the comment section below. I love hearing your feedback. Now, if this video has helped you in any sort of way, please don't forget to smash that like button, as it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you like tools, get subscribed, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on any new tools coming to the channel. Always appreciate you stopping by. With that, we'll be back with more videos soon.